Hey you guys, what's going on? It's Teenage Night, and in case you can't tell, I am not in a great mood right now. The Oklahoma game just got done, and final score, as you can see on the screen, Ohio State 45, Oklahoma 24. We got dominated on nearly every aspect of football, and it was just not a very pretty game. To me, the only receiver, or the only player, not just receiver, the only Oklahoma Sooner to show up and play tonight was Joe Mixon. 9 carries, 78 yards, 8.7 yards a carry, and he had the kick return for a touchdown. Granted, he dropped it at the 1 yard line, but no one saw, so it's okay. Anyway, to me, Mixon was the only one to show up tonight. The offensive line didn't show up at all, which caused Baker to go 17 of 32, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Probably should have been 3 picks after he overthrew A.D. Miller. To me, Mayfield did not look good tonight at all. It looked to me like he was trying to do way too much. He was trying to be the hero tonight, and he caused a lot of those mistakes. He overthrew Mark Andrews. That would have been an easy touchdown. Whenever we were inside like the 5 yard line, he decided to roll out to the right side and run all the way back to the 20 before getting sacked. Probably should have just thrown that one away, Baker. And then also on the play that got us down inside the 5, he underthrew A.D. Miller. Had he led that a little bit farther, Miller wouldn't have fallen trying to make the catch. He would have just been able to catch it in stride and walk into the end zone. But doesn't matter now. I don't even know if I already mentioned it, but the offensive line to me didn't show up. Samaje, 17 carries for 60 yards. At some point in the game, I think our offensive coordinator, who is Lincoln Riley, I think he needed to realize that Samaje wasn't working, because we were running right up the gut, and we tried to go to the outside a few times, and these linebackers were not letting Samaje through, but Mixon was doing good. So why didn't we run more with Mixon in the second half after we saw in the first half Pirine wasn't doing good? No idea. At least that's what I would have done. And then, let's talk about the defense. J.T. Barrett, 14 of 20, 152 yards, and 4 touchdowns. All 4 of those touchdowns went to a wide receiver named Noah Brown. And we had, I think, 4 different corners on him for 4 different touchdowns. I don't know who was on him for the first 2, but I think the last 2 was Micaiah Quick, who was a receiver. That is how bad our corners are right now, is we have receivers playing corner. He could have played corner in high school, I don't know. And then the other one was Jordan Thomas. But I think Quick was the guy on him whenever Brown reached around the defender to make the catch, which, by the way, great catch. Just really wish it hadn't happened against us. And then on the ground, Mike Weber, 18 carries, 123 yards, and Curtis Samuel, 11 carries, 98 yards. J.T. Barrett, 17 carries, 74 yards. In total, they had 48 carries for 291 yards. That is absolutely insane. Their offensive line just kicked our defensive line's ass all night. And I normally don't cuss on this channel, but that's the only way I can describe that, is that O-line was kicking our D-line's ass the entire night. And normally I'm pretty quick to defend Bob Stoops because since I've been a Sooner fan, which I was born in 1995. So Stoops came in whenever I was like 5 years old. So Stoops is like the only coach I remember. And I've been kind of defensive of Stoops over the past few seasons. But the last national championship was the year 2000. And almost every year since then, we've had that one game where we didn't show up. And this year we've already had 2. Yes, it's a brutal schedule. We played Houston, who, whenever we scheduled them, I don't think we knew they were going to be that good, but we should have been ready. We had an entire offseason to get ready. So we had to play Houston, then into ULM, who we obviously dominated, and I did do the My Thoughts video last week because I didn't get to watch the game because it was pay-per-view, and I'm not about to pay $60 to watch a game at home. Anyway. And then we had this week against Ohio State, where they didn't show up. So that's already 2 this season. And we play Texas in 3 weeks, who is ranked number 11, and right now is in a shootout with Cal. But I don't know how that game's going to end, obviously. I think it's 33-35 at halftime or something like that. But we can't play this kind of defense going into the Big 12 if we expect to win. Because right now, that's all we're playing for. Unless there is utter chaos in the top 25 and everyone comes out with 2 losses this season, we are not making the playoffs. Ohio State would have to lose 2 or 3 games. Alabama would have to lose 2 or 3 games. Probably Houston. No, it'd probably help us more if Houston went undefeated, because then it looks better. And probably Ohio State. But anyway, back to what I was saying. every year we have a game where we don't show up, and that ends up costing us. And also, every time we get to the big stage, we can't show up. Yes, we beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl a few years ago, but that wasn't for the national championship. Okay, let's go back to the past, I believe, 3 times we've been in a situation to win the championship. Against USC, we got our ass handed to us in 2005. Fast forward a few years, we have Sam Bradford, the best quarterback in the country at the time, and we go in to play Florida and lose, which was to Urban Meyer, which they just had to point out so many times tonight. And then last season, we got to the playoffs, we had a ton of momentum, and Clemson shut us down. Every time we get to that point to try to win a championship, we can't get over that final hump. And like I said, I've been very defensive of Bob Stoops, but eventually you've got to win one. Like, yes, Big 12 championships are nice. I love to have Big 12 championships. But if they mentioned so many times tonight that the tradition and the expectation of this program is to win national championships. And we haven't won a national championship in 16 years. Yes, we can expect to win a national championship every year. But I think most Sooner fans now, like even whenever I was talking to the Weave and Cole, we always go into the season and be like, we're looking at the schedule and it's like, okay, who's going to be the one team we don't show up against? Last season it was Texas, and then we went into the Clemson game and got beat. But this season I was looking at the schedule at the beginning of it, and I was really looking at like, okay, I could definitely see us losing to Houston or Ohio State. Worst case scenario is we lose to both of them. And right now we are in that worst case scenario. We cannot make the playoffs now unless there's some utter chaos. We can still win the Big 12, but if we win the Big 12, Big 12 does not have a team in the playoffs. That's just the way that's going to go. Texas right now I think is our biggest threat. They've looked pretty good so far. TCU, I haven't watched much of them, but I know they just beat Iowa State, but then again, everyone beats Iowa State. But anyway, this game tonight was not pretty. I think Ohio State is one of the best teams in the country, if not the best. But we can't play like that in these big games and expect to win championships, because it's just not going to happen. You cannot have this bad of a defense and expect to win a championship. And it's not that this is a, rare occurrence. We haven't had a solid defense in years. And I think almost all of that, if not all of it, can be attributed to Bob Stoops, because he's been here that entire time, and then he brings his brother back. And yes, we've had the best defense in the Big 12, but that's not saying much. So anyway, this game tonight was awful. Just kind of, I really wanted to turn it off. Probably right after Baker got sacked on that 4th and 6 in the fourth quarter, because I was still holding on to some hope that we could pull off this miraculous comeback. And then Baker tried to run for it on 4th and 6 and got sacked, and pretty much game over. Anyway, if there's anything you guys want to talk about in the comments, let me know. And, I'll discuss some stuff in the comments with you guys. I may not reply till late tomorrow because I do have a shift in the morning that I have to go to. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know most of you probably did not enjoy the game. Ohio State fans, if you're watching this, good luck on the rest of your season. I think you guys have a legit chance at winning the national championship. Y'all have looked incredible so far in every game. And I think really you just have to get over Alabama. But anyway, talk to you guys next time.